Shalom. Before I start this lesson off, I'd like to first and foremost, as always, give all honor, glory, and praise unto our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to our venerated apostles and elders, great millstone, taught us truth and rule well. And peace and blessings to the elect, Tabernacle of David, which have been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm the brother Shamaria, back with another lesson, okay? And as I was thinking, all right, and listening to various brothers, at this point, man, it should be evident, that the MOTB at some point is going to be mandated, man. This thing is going to happen in our lifetime. All right. But, even as the elder apostles and elder bishops on down of Great Millstone are currently, still, keeping, sounding the alarm. All right. Staying, updating you with biblical prophecy and breaking down these things plainly. All right. You got various other leaders, leadership of these other camps. All right. They're still leaving the interpretation of the MOTB ambiguous. All right. Misleading their congregation and following. All right. And it's like at this point, you should know that there's something up. All right. You should know that these people would have had to been compromised because, like, the elders always say, keep bringing out, you got even Edomites that could see it. You got even Edomites that can see it. You got people, whistleblowers out there. They could see it. All right. And, the course of things now. All right. And I'm going to bring out a few points to drive it home that this thing is on the way. It's going to happen. Okay. And you can see it. All right. The various talk points that, various public health officials and, individuals in the tech sector, they speak about digital ID and, healthcare, digital public infrastructure and all these various things. It shows you that the infrastructure is already set up for this thing to be mandated. All right. And function with this digital, this new, digital infrastructure. All right. And that's what the elite of Esau, all right, want for this society and the world. Total control of the masses through their technology, the MOTB. All right. But I'm gonna read a little info in regards to digital ID and the being tied to healthcare. All right. This is an AI overview from Google. Digital IDs in healthcare streamline patient verification, reduce administrative burdens, and ensure secure access to care. They encompass both digital medical infrastructure, medical/insurance ID cards for easy clinic check-ins and emergency medical ID profiles on your smartphone. And, they'll always, kind of push convenience. All right. This thing, replacing, physical cards and so on and so forth. All right. But we know that this is what's going to be, pretty much required to function in the society very soon. All right. And, he is going to push it as convenience. He's going to push it as, the de facto, compulsory, the norm, whatever. All right. But we know what's written in prophecy, man. All right. And we know what this, serves as, all right, as a brand into their, NWO system. Okay. And in taking the chip, all right, and ceding to the advances of Esau, you're ultimately in rebellion against the Heavenly Father. Okay. If you take this thing, you will be destroyed by way of thermonuclear missiles pertaining pursuant to Revelation 14 and 9. Okay, but this is I'm gonna read a little more. Digital health and insurance ID cards. Member ID cards allow you to present proof of coverage from your phone at clinics and pharmacies. Real-time accuracy. They update in real time to reflect the most current deductible status, plan information, and benefits. How to access. So check your specific health insurance provider's web portal or mobile app to download your digital card, which can often be saved into your Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. And that being digital wallet, that sort of thing is gonna phase out eventually. All right, this thing is gonna be this thing will be the digital wallet. All right, this thing will be your digital ID, and so on and so forth. All right. And this thing is what's going to be required to access, healthcare and a slew of other things. Okay, Revelation 13 chapter 16 verse. Even commerce itself, being able to buy or sell. All right, is going to be linked to that implantable device. All right. So you have this push for digital IDs here in the U.S., all right, Europe, and we know that's ultimately, they want to they're gonna push the MOTB, all right, as the digital ID, digital wallet, and so on and so forth. Okay. They want the chip to be an integral part of this society. Okay, just like you have in Sweden. You got thousands of individuals that already are microchipped, and their day-to-day lives, are they use the chip for a number of things. Access control, key fobs, car keys, all in that chip. All right. Digital contactless payments, and so on and so forth. So even as you have all this information out there, and you see the push for these things, all right, you still have individuals out there that can't see it, all right, and speaking on the leadership of these other camps, something is up there, whether they have been compromised or they're just truly blinded to this prophecy, all right, and the latter seems the most reasonable, because it's like, how can you not see it? All right. You have sellouts amongst the nation of Israel, man. All right. People that have been compromised and are doing the bidding of Esau to mislead. All right. But let me see. I'm going to just read Ezekiel 33. This is the book of Ezekiel 33 and 5. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning. His blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. All right. Let me see. Matter of fact, I'm going to start up. This is Ezekiel 33 and 2. Son of man, speak to the children of thy people and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coasts and set him for the watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. And Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai has set up watchmen for the house of Israel, his people. Okay? beginning with our elder apostles and elder bishops on down. You know, brothers that are pushing this thing in truth and sincerity. All right. We're sounding the alarm on the Lord's holy mountain, which is his people. All right. Giving them warning of what's to come. All right. And, the whole duty of a watchman is to watch for danger, to alert, all right, the inhabitants of the city. You know, you think of a watchman upon his watchtower, you're pretty much set at a high point to oversee, you know, what's going on, all right? And so this thing is serious, you know? Scriptures say that if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? Roughly paraphrase. All right, and you got a lot of individuals out there that are you know, not sounding the alarm, not giving the proper warning. All right. It says, but if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. You see? It says, so thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. All right, so, you know, being a watchman over the house of Israel, you know, is not something to play with, you know, to take lightly. All right. And you have a lot of individuals out there that you know, have compromised themselves for you know, comfortability in Esau's society. All right, whether they, you know, took a bag, which we believe to be the case for you know, leadership of these other camps. Okay. Because, you know, it only makes sense. It's so plain to see that, you know, the chip is what's written of in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay. But let's see. You got leadership of these other camps that are leaving their interpretation, all right, ambiguous. They're leaving uncertainty as to what it is, what it truly is. You know, even some, you know, are telling, no, they're following that is something, you know, completely different than what you know, the elder apostles and brothers have been saying it truly is. All right, and can break the prophecy down plainly, you know, going into the Greek and showing you, all right, with the RFID microchip, you know, that the RFID microchip is the MOTB. So let me see. Isaiah 56:10, his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. All right. And that's these other individuals, all right, leadership of these other camps, man. Okay. Blind, ignorant, dumb dogs. All right. Dumb meaning mute. Right? Because, like, you know, you have a guard dog or a sheep dog. You know, they're supposed to warn you of danger. All right. Sheepdog is supposed to warn, bark, sound off for the shepherd, all right, to protect his sheepfold. Okay. And what use is a dumb dog, all right? A dog that can't sound off, can't bark, can't give warning. All right? They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yeah, they're asleep. All right? Yeah, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. And that's what you see amongst these other camps. They take this thing as some kind of come up, right? Selling the truth, selling merchandise, using individuals for money. They are greedy dogs which can never have enough, and they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter. Come ye, say they, I will fetch wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow shall be as this day, and much more abundant. So they're all about, mirth. All right, and jollity. Jollity, all right? Having it good in Esau's kingdom. All right? Because where do you see the elder apostles talking about a private jet flying to other countries? Okay? Where do you see the apostles and the elder bishops, brothers of Great Millstone, selling merchandise, making merchandise to this truth? All right? You don't see that amongst Great Millstone. And that says a lot. Okay? That should be a clear indication as to who is really, sincere about this thing. Okay? Which, is going to be more made more evident as time goes on. And anyone in the right, in the right mind is gonna look at that and come under the right leadership. Okay. Ultimately the elect, man, aren't gonna be deceived by these individuals out there. Scriptures speak about many false prophets arising. Okay. But let me grab a little more information in regards to the MOTB, man, because like I was saying, this thing is gonna come. All right, soon we can see it. Let me see. So I asked ChatGPT for recent developments and news in regards to digital ID. It says recent developments show that digital ID systems are increasingly becoming adopted in healthcare. For example, Japan is transitioning its national ID card to serve as a health insurance certificate starting in December 2025. And in the U.S., there's research suggesting that a federal digital ID platform for social welfare programs. These systems can speed up access to care and reduce fraud, but some risks remain, like excluding vulnerable groups or raising privacy concerns. So it says Africa's biometric ID systems blocking millions of citizens from rights and services. says millions of citizens in Africa are unable to obtain essential services that they are entitled to as new digital ID systems continue being imposed across the continent, requiring them to provide biometric and personal information. New research reveals. And remember, Revelation 3 and 10, all right, the hour of temptation shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth, okay? And that's literally all throughout the earth. This thing is going to be pushed, okay? I was thinking of the Elder Gad, in the NY camp, one of our recent camps, he was mentioning how, even the pygmies, them remote islands, they're gonna push it there too. All right. The whole world, okay, to try them that dwell upon the earth. So, everybody is gonna be tested. Okay, everybody's gonna be tried, and those that are gonna pass that test, the elect of the nation of Israel, because as is written in Revelation the 15th chapter, the elect had the victory over the beast, over the mark and the number of his name. Okay, the elect will not succumb to these devil's methods, man. All right, and their coercion. All right, but they're gonna hold fast in the faith and lean upon Yahweh B'Shem El Shai. Lord willing, the Lord had the spirit on us to endure and resist this thing unto the end, man. Because it's gonna get very hectic. All right, before remember, Order Ab Chaos, we're still getting ready to see chaos leading up to that point. All right, because they gotta they're gonna bring down the global economy. All right, and pave the way for this thing to become mandate. So another thing is and I spoke about this in a previous lesson, tokenization, digitalization of assets, stablecoin, things of that nature. It says there have been some big moves in asset tokenization and stablecoins. In the UK, regulators are exploring letting asset tokens sit alongside traditional securities, while in Europe, a EuroPeg stablecoin project just added 25 more banks. At the same time, U.S. banks are favoring tokenized deposits. So, that's the money going, digital. All right. It says U.S. banks are favoring tokenized deposits, which fit better with existing regulations. But despite the progress, central banks like the European Central Bank are still cautious, highlighting risk to monetary policy. Let me see. So the more and more you're gonna hear about tokenization. All right, you're gonna hear about tokenized deposits. The bank kind of adopting this. All right. The MOTB itself, man, this thing is a gradual thing, but it's gonna happen. All right. It's gonna happen gradually, but surely. All right. In the U.S., there's a growing push for digital IDs in healthcare to help connect patient records and speed up benefits access. For example, Cigna offers digital insurance ID cards, and Google is partnering with Medicare to let people verify their identity and pull medical records into an app. While this improves efficiency, challenges remain, like ensuring equity for those without smartphones and protecting privacy. And another thing too, you're gonna kind of see people's reaction to this. You know, they're gonna push back, all right, against these new regulations coming into effect, all right, because they even they speak about certain hurdles they have to get over for people to conform to this new system, all right, and taking the MOTB, and they're gonna be able to push this in a sense to where other alternatives to it may exist, but the circumstances and the pressure is what's gonna coerce people into making that decision to take it, all right. And I spoke about this in another lesson, how something becomes de facto compulsory. It's because all other alternatives are impractical, Google partners with CMS on linking medical records to Fitbit, and those are wearable devices, and we know that the wearables soon enough, the wearables, they want the technology to be inside of you, embedded under your skin, right? Trump announced his plan to launch private health tracking systems with big tech firms. Trump administration announced a new initiative on Wednesday designed to allow Americans to share their medical records across a host of apps and programs managed by private tech companies. A move that proponents say will facilitate easier access to those records across the country's fragmented healthcare system, but that digital privacy experts fear will risk making patients' data less secure. All right. So, one of the other things that I was hearing brothers talk about, how, they push security behind this, all right? But there's still, privacy concerns. There's still all these other, things. Apple launches a digital ID. It says it'll be accepted by the TSA. You can present your digital ID at TSA checkpoints at more than 250 airports across the U.S. Well, we knew about that, all right? But, soon you're going to have to present that chip, all right? I remember recently, one of the lessons that one of the brothers in Jersey did was speaking on Bill Gates, all right, and now I asked about statements from tech officials like Bill Gates. Says Bill Gates has emphasized that digital identity systems are a core part of what he calls digital public infrastructure, DPIs, right? Alongside digital payments and data exchange, he argues these systems can help improve access to healthcare and other services, especially in countries like India, where national IDs have already linked people to banking and insurance. Gates stresses the need for inclusion and equity so that no one is left out, and he warns that privacy and consent will be crucial as these systems roll out. But we know that, they want to be able to, through this technology, have all your biometric data, be able to track you in real time. All right. 6G. Trump, I remember one of the points that bro brought out, Trump recently said about 6G real quick. Let me see. Yeah. All right. It says there are clips and reports circulating about Donald Trump making comments suggesting 6G could see deeper into somebody's skin or somehow look inside people. How are they going to be able to do that? With, the MOTB. All right. That's how they're going to be able to track people in real time. Seeing their every movements. All right. They even want to know what people are thinking. It says those remarks came during a tech roundtable discussion in late 2025 with telecom executives, including Qualcomm CEO Cristiano Amon. It says, but technically, 6G is not an X-ray or body scanning technology. 6G refers to a future generation of wireless networking, the successor to 5G, focuses on faster data speeds, lower latency, and AI-assisted networking, and potentially advanced sensing applications. But we know that 6G, the MOTB is going to function with that, and that's how they're going to be able to track people, all right, and see their movements in real time, all right, read their biometrics in real time, all right. Being able to see inside of you, like medical imaging, reading thoughts, mass surveillance through skin. Now, it's all going to be possible through that technology, man. All right, they want to be as the Most High God on earth. All right, that God complex. And this is what we've been seeing. This is what we've been warning about. All right, and this whole thing with we'll see, but this whole thing with the hantavirus, okay, the WHO raised the risk of an Ebola outbreak in Congo. So, Ebola is resurfaced. WHO declares global health emergency over Ebola outbreak in Congo and Uganda. All right. So, and remember, CV, brought about biometric authentication systems and digital contactless, payments to the forefront. So let's just say that sort of thing happens again. It'll really devastate the economy. Alongside, what's already going on with the the situation over there in the east, all right, around the Strait of Hormuz, the Red Sea. Okay. So we'll see, all right, how this is going to play out in a couple months, but nonetheless, this thing is on the way. All right. So with that, I'm going to close out, giving all praises, honor, and glory once again to our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem and Kakudash. Double honor to our apostles and elders, great millstone, taught us truth and well, and peace and blessings to elect. Till the next I say, Shalom.